Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 295. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the JP8 Report. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's a really nice day outside. It's still kind of dark here in Texas. A lot happening today. I do have, I'll just let you know right now, I'm supposed to have a congressional candidate from Congressional District 31, Elvis Lusa, is supposed to be up here this afternoon. I don't know if I'm going to be live with him or record him. It depends on when he shows up, because he told me he's at a promotion ceremony for a lieutenant colonel being promoted to full bird colonel. He's the chief information officer at 3 Corps, which is signal officer for the chief signal officer. So I don't know if it'll be live or recorded. It might be recorded. We'll see. But thank y'all very much for tuning in. Before we get started, don't forget to click that follow button, and then that's if you're not already a subscriber to the JP8 Report, or follower. And then right next door to it is the thumbs up button, and just please go ahead and click that. Give us a like and share. Don't forget, I do broadcast live on X and YouTube and Facebook. I am not sure if it connected this morning, because it says it's connecting, and I usually get some indicators. But I'm on Rumble. Rumble's number one, so we'll stick to Rumble, right? All right. So with all that taken care of, let's move on into America 250. So on America 250 for the 9th and 10th of January 1776, is considered, both dates are considered the publication date for Common Sense by Thomas Paine. And just to give you a little bit of insight on what Common Sense is about, there's only 47 pages in it. It was written by an anonymous at first, so nobody knew who actually wrote the pamphlet. Evidently, he wanted to continue to breathe. All right. The publisher of the pamphlet was Robert Bell. It was called, before it was published, it was called The Plain Truth, and they changed it to Common Sense when it was published. 120,000 copies were sold in the first 3 months, and they said there was worldwide of 500,000 copies sold in the first year. Now, believe it or not, there's some skeptics of those numbers, because they said an awful lot of the people, especially in the United States, were not even literate back then to be able to read it. You would be surprised. And sometimes people just buy something to keep hold of it and cherish it because it means something to them. So, people might have heard some people reciting some of it in a town square somewhere, and said, "Hey, I want a copy of that too," and they bought it, right? But the numbers don't lie sometimes. Depends on who you believe. But there was 120,000 sold in the first 3 months, and it was primarily around Philadelphia where it got started, because that's where he was living at. He came up to the colonies in I believe 1773, I think it was. But it was Thomas Paine, and this was 250 years ago this weekend. All right. So in honor of that, where did I put it? Okay. So just so you know, when I do my regular podcast, I do Rumble Premium at the end of it for about 15 to 30 minutes. I've been reading Common Sense itself. So if you want to listen, sometimes that can be monotone, but hey, it's worth reading. And so you go to rumble.com/premium, and it just costs you a few dollars a month, or you can pay for it outright for a year. Get premium, and it's, so if you go to rumble.com/premium, and the code word is studio, all right, and you can get it, get situated and ready to go to listen to this. So I'm going to just read the introduction and a postscript preface, okay? And I'm going to do it again this afternoon. And don't forget to click the like button, please, okay? So the introduction. Perhaps the sentiments contained in the following pages are not yet sufficiently fashionable to procure them general favor. A long habit of not thinking a thing wrong gives it a superficial appearance of being right and raises the first formidable outcry in defense of custom. But the turmoil soon subsides. Time makes more converts than reason. As a long and violent abuse of power is generally the means of calling the right of it in question, and in matters to which might never have been thought of, had not the sufferers been aggravated into the inquiry. And as the King of England hath undertaken in his own right to support the Parliament in what he calls theirs, and as the good people of this country are previously oppressed by the combination, they have an undoubted privilege to inquire of the pretensions of both, and equally to reject the usurpation of either. In the following sheets, the author, remember it was anonymous, in the following sheets, the author has studiously avoided everything which is personal among ourselves. Compliments as well as censure to individuals make no part thereof, and wise of the worthy need not to triumph of a pamphlet. And those whose sentiments and injudicious and unfriendly will cease of themselves unless too much pains is bestowed upon their conversations. The cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind. Many circumstances have and will arise which are not local but universal, and through which the principles of all lovers of mankind are affected, and in the advent of which their affections are interested, delaying a country desolate with fire and sword, declaring war against the natural rights of all mankind, and expurgating the defenders thereof from the face of the earth, is the concern of every man to whom the nature hath given the power of feeling, of which class, regardless of party, censure is, the author. And then there's a postscript to preface in the third edition, which is dated February 14, 1776. P.S. The publication of this new edition has been delayed with the view of taking notice, and it had been necessary, of any attempt to refute the doctrine of independence. As no answer hath yet appeared, it is now presumed that none will, and the time needful for getting such a performance ready for the public being considerably past. Who the author of this publication is wholly unnecessary to the public, as the object for attention is the doctrine itself, not the man. Yet it may be unnecessary to say that he is unconnected with any party and under no sort of influence, public or private, but the influence of reason and principle. And it's signed in Philadelphia, February 14th, 1776. So that's the introduction of Common Sense. And I've been reading it on my premium only edition after I get done with my regular podcast, right? So next is I got to get the Stream Deck connected. All right. So this is what do you call it? The Dalmatian Burger Group, and they make homemade smash burgers and dogs right here in Copper's Cove. All their ingredients are homemade, including their buns, and they're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 2 and 5:30 to 7, unless they sell out. And then, as of a couple of days ago, they announced this coming Monday they'll be open for lunch from 11 to 2 also. So you can get your lunch 6 days a week and then 5 days a week in the evening time. All right. And they're located on the west side of Copper's Cove in the behind Bush's Chicken and Shopping Center. All right. Alrighty. So where are we at right now? We're at 12 minutes because I can't miss Chad Prather at 7 o'clock. All right. So with the JP8 report, let's see. The first thing is at in about 45 minutes from now, at 7:30 Central, the monthly unemployment report numbers are coming out. They are expecting, I believe, 73,000 jobs created for the month of December. And then the unemployment rate, they're expecting to go from 4.4% to 4.5%. So, and they're talking, there's still skewed numbers in those because of the shutdown, which ended last month or ended in November. But they said that everything hasn't been situated yet. So they're expecting just be flexible on it, but they're saying February will be right on, unless we have another government shutdown, which is entirely possible. But we will see what those new numbers are going to be in just a few more minutes, and I'll report back on that this afternoon when I go live at noon. All right, noon Central. So the next thing is, yesterday the president was talking, and he was talking about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, that he had directed them to buy $200 billion of mortgage bonds to interdict on interest rates. All right. So first thing I'm going to show you is the Truth Social that he wrote. All right. Is that I, as President of the United States, have already fixed it. I am giving special attention to the housing market because I choose not to sell Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in my first term, a truly great decision, and against advice of the experts, it is now worth many times that amount, an absolute fortune, and has $200 billion in cash. Because of this, I'm instructing my representatives to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds. This will drive mortgage rates down, monthly payments down, and make the cost of owning a home more affordable. It is one of my many steps of restoring affordability, something that the Biden administration absolutely destroyed, and are bringing back the American dream that was destroyed by the last administration. Make America great again. All right. So that's what he wrote on Truth. So in foxbusiness.com, the article was written by Greg Wayner, President Donald Trump said he is directing representatives to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds to drive rates down, blaming former President Biden or President Ottopen for what he called a broken economy marked by inflation, crime, and an American dream he says his administration is restoring. The comments came in a social media post Thursday, which I just read, in which, if I point this way, it means that I got 3 computer terminals in there, and my PowerPoint's over here. So that's why I point over there. Comments came on social media posts on Thursday, which Trump leveled a broader critique of the Biden-era economy while highlighting past decisions he said strengthened key housing institutions. The president said he's already fixed it. Now I'm giving special attention to the housing market because I choose not to sell Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in my first term, which I was just talking about. He said all caps. Yeah, I think it was. Okay, so this is the Truth Social. It is one of my many steps in a foreign. Why do they're just quoting them? Wow, really? In response to President Trump's post, the director of federal housing, William Pulte, said on X, "We are on it. Thanks to President Trump, Fannie and Freddie will be executing." The announcement followed Trump's proposal to ban large institutional investors like Blackstone from purchasing single-family homes as part of a broader housing agenda. And Trump said high inflation has pushed home ownership out of the reach of many Americans, particularly young buyers, arguing the housing market has drifted away from its affordability. All right, and that is true. We have one of our daughters living with us because it's so expensive for a single person to get a house or an apartment anywhere, right? And pretty much to be able to qualify for a house on a mortgage, I think your household income has got to be between $138,000 and $168,000 a year to qualify. You can't do that making $20 an hour. $20 an hour on 40 hours a week is $800 a week. $800 a week times 4 is $3,200. $3,200 a month. That's $32,000 a year plus $6,400. So it's $38,000 and $400, right? And that's at $20 an hour. And how are you going to afford a mortgage at that type of rate? Is utterly ridiculous. So we got to get the price of housing down and make it affordable for everyday Americans to be able to live the American dream, right? So the go on with that is that the trade deficit was reported yesterday at the lowest level since 2009. So we just talked about housing. Now we're talking about the trade deficit, which is very, very important. So yesterday, another Truth Social came out from the president, and I will read it. Breaking news. Numbers released today show that the United States of America has the lowest trade deficit since 2009 and going even lower. In addition, our nation's gross domestic product is predicted to come in at over 5%. That is after losing at least 1.5% to the Democrat shutdown. These incredible numbers and unprecedented success of our country are a direct result of tariffs, which have rescued our economy and national security. I hope the Supreme Court is aware of these historic country-saving achievements prior to the issuance of their most important ever decision. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. All right. So, and I got another article. This one was written from CNBC. So I don't get all my stuff from Fox and New York Post, right? So this is the U.S. trade deficit 6 months into President Donald Trump's tariffs tumbled to its lowest level since mid-2009, the Commerce Department reported Thursday. The total was the lowest since the second quarter 2009, as the U.S. was just coming out of the financial crisis and the Great Recession. The trade deficit 6 months into Donald Trump's tariffs tumbled to its lowest level since 2009, the Commerce Department reported on Thursday, with exports rising and imports falling, which is a good thing. The trade shortfall was just $29.4 billion in October, down 39% from the prior month. Exports increased 2.6%, while imports slipped 3.2%. The total was the lowest since the second quarter of 2009, as the U.S. was just coming out of the financial crisis and the Great Recession. The numbers reflect the trade activity since Trump levied his Liberation Day tariffs in April 2025. Economists and policymakers worried that the levies would work against the U.S. by inviting retaliation and slowing the movement of goods and services around the world. However, Trump has backed off of many of the most severe tariffs he made. The data shows a strong market of U.S. products. That's because there is called a thing negotiation. To be sure, the year-to-date deficit still was 7.7% higher at the same time in 2024. Still, the decelerating imbalance will provide much needed boost for fourth quarter economic growth that has been hit hard by the federal government shutdown. Chris Rupke wrote. He's the chief economist at Ford Bonds. I have no idea who they are. The U.S. appears to be winning the trade war with tariffs, curbing the imports of foreign goods, but American trading partners are not holding any grudges. They continue to buy more American goods and services. So far, the forecasts for a U.S. recession are coming up dry as productivity continues to backstop growth. And then it says, indeed, third quarter productivity rose at a 4.9% clip, according to a report Thursday from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. In third quarter, productivity rose at 4.9%, which we do know. They were talking on Fox this morning that they're expecting like 5.5–6% pretty soon. So that is the, in a nutshell, that they are expecting tariffs to drive the economy forward and to they keep our economy from slipping into recession. So we'll see about that. And then Crew 11, they said, will be coming home early from the International Space Station because one of the astronauts is sick and has got a medical condition, and they cited HIPAA as not to identify which astronaut is sick and what is the ailment, right? And then, did I not? Okay, I'm not going to make all the way through this. Okay, that's all right. So I got that one and that one done because I am running out of time. Expect the Supreme Court ruling around 10 o'clock this morning concerning said tariffs that I was just talking about. So be conscious of that, and I will have that on the JP8 report if it does, in fact, come out this morning. All right. I don't direct the Chief Justice when to publicize their rulings. All right. One thing I will talk about is, because it's the title of the podcast for the day, Maria Corina Machado is going to visit the White House next week, and they said it might be Thursday. That would be really cool. President Trump revealed Thursday that he expects to meet Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado next week, and it would be a great honor if she gives him her Nobel Prize, which she is saying she's going to do. I understand she's coming in next week sometime, and I look forward to saying hello to her. Trump told Fox News' Sean Hannity, that was on last night, when he asked if he plans to meet with Machado. Trump told the Post Sunday that he was not sure the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize winner had enough support in Venezuela to lead the nation in the wake of the dictator's ouster. Since Trump's remark, Machado has signaled a willingness to personally give her prize to the president, who received the several nominations for the award. And I've heard that she wants to do that, Trump said of the gesture. That would be a great honor. Machado has indicated that she and Edmund Gonzalez, whom the U.S. recognizes as the winner of the country's last presidential election, are prepared to lead a transitional government in Venezuela. The freedom fighter told Hannity earlier this week that she hasn't spoken to Trump since winning the award, which she dedicated to the president last October. Machado also says she plans to return to Venezuela as soon as possible. Now, what needs to be aware of is that, yeah, it's great that she does go back. The problem is she needs to continue to breathe, because there are a lot of thugs in Venezuela right now, and it's like you got groups of people that are dedicated to the communist cause, and they will do anything to maintain that status quo. They have to make sure the time is right for Gonzalez and Machado both to return to Venezuela to lead the country respectfully, right? Remember Benazir Bhutto in Pakistan. She came back, and I think she was on a campaign rally, and they killed her. I mean, oh, come on. You have to be careful with these leaders. You see what's going on in Iran right now. There is a serious global political stuff at work right now, and you got to protect some of these opposition people to make sure they have the capability of leading the countries when their governments fall, because chaos invites chaos, and you got to make sure that it's effective. All right. So I got to sign off. I'll cover the rest of the stuff this afternoon. I already got new literature. All right. So this is my socials. I'm on X at James Pierce Jr., Facebook James A. Pierce Jr., and I'm on YouTube at JP8 Report. All right. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. I am out, and I am rating the Chad Prather, all right, Before the Noise, which is awesome. So stick around and listen to Chad. And there it goes. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See y'all. All right, I'm out. Check y'all later. See you at 12.